Hey guys, it's your brother in Christ, Weston. Thanks for joining me today. So today's article comes out of Zero Hedge. Let's get into it. Hey, um, it's here. JFK files released. Here they are. This was released at 8:15. It's 8:53 my time PM. Don't know if that's CST or whatever, but that's Eastern. Okay, so about an hour ago for us. Roughly 80,000 pages. That's ridiculous. Of JFK files have finally been released in from or in the form of 1,123 PDF files on a National Archives website after President Donald Trump announced Monday that he would make them public. Click here to access. Insane. It's here. So people have been waiting for decades for this, and I've instructed my people, lots of different people, Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, that they must be released tomorrow. Trump said during a visit to the Kennedy Center in Washington, "You got a lot of reading. I don't believe we're going to redact anything." I said, "I just don't redact. You can't redact." Then you can see the picture here of when it all happened in Dallas, Texas. And literally like his head like filleted. Like it looks wild. It says here, the files so far still point to Lee Harvey Oswald as the culprit. A few notable findings. Cuban diplomats initially assumed the CIA killed JFK in order to get revenge on botched Bay of Pigs invasion. If the Yankees or CIA assassinated Kennedy to resume the assault on Cuba, then a third world war would start. One diplomat said, according to the journalist Sean Davis. In a separate discussion, here's, pay attention. It says in a separate disposition, one of the American intelligence operatives noted that multiple CIA assets connected to a particularly CIA agent had been spreading misinformation that Cuba was behind the assassination in the immediate wake of JFK's murder. Sean Davis on X. Upon learning the JFK assassination, Cuban diplomats immediately assumed, oh, that's what I just read, right? This is what Sean Davis said. You can see this doc here. It shows November, was that 1963, November 23rd? Man, I wasn't even thought of. Um, it says a topic of note is Lee Harvey Oswald trip to Mexico City just months before the assassination. Oswald visited the Soviet embassy in Mexico looking for a visa, and his request was handled by a loose cannon USSR intelligence officer. Oswald was presumably looking for a visa, um, probably to escape the country. Are also sharing the PDF. This is why I saw this part, which contains a claim in June 1967 issues of Ramparts, in which Gary Underhill, a Harvard graduate, former military affairs expert, suggested a small clique within the CIA was responsible for the assassination. Bro, when I read that, and this is stuff that's been considered a conspiracy theory for the longest time, but this is somebody. But let's just read. It says, Ramparts 1967, Volume 5, number 12, pages 28 to 29, contain the following about the subjects. This is Ramparts John Garrett Underhill Jr., Samuel George Cummings, and Armco. The day after the assassination, Gary Underhill left Washington in a hurry. Late in the evening, he showed up at the home of friends in New Jersey. He was very agitated. A small clique within the CIA was responsible for the assassination. He confided. He was afraid for his life and probably would have to leave the country. Less than 6 months later, Underhill was found shot to death in his Washington apartment, and the coroner ruled it a suicide. Bro, you cannot tell me that it's CIA, FBI. These are all the things that we've heard for so long that they are not corrupt organizations or something about them, right? That they're not people or just people who have some kind of agenda that's attached to somewhere else in another nation, attached to here with some business that gets money of some sort or some laundering or something that's immoral, some trafficking, something that somehow always makes its way back to like at least an organization that's in regards to equals like FBI, CIA, Mossad, um, whatever in the KGB or KJB or whatever it is, KGB KJB. Um, insert those kind of entities and other organizations. That stuff is wild. Wild. Let's keep reading. After World War II, Underhill worked as a military correspondent for the Life magazine in intermittent contact with CIA's Domestic Contact Service late 1949 to mid 1950s, performing occasional special assignments rather than being a full time employee. Shortly after the JFK assassination, Underhill visited the home of his friend Charlene Fitzsimmons shortly after the incident and suggested Lee Harvey Oswald was a patsy, a setup to take the fall. Oh my goodness. Underhill also claimed to have insider knowledge of the perpetrators, linking their actions to failed plots against Fidel Castro, possibly referencing CIA operations like Executive Action, and expressed fear for his life, saying he needed to leave the country. On May 8, 1964, Underhill was found dead in his Washington, D.C. apartment with a gunshot wound behind his left ear, an automatic pistol in his left hand. DC police ruled it a suicide, but the circumstances sparked suspicion among some friends and researchers. Um, here's one. Then there's this secret British tip about JFK assassination 25 minutes before it happened. British newspaper received an anonymous call 25 minutes before JFK was assassinated, warning of big news coming from the US. According to the document, a Cambridge news reporter was told to call the American embassy in London for some big news before abruptly hanging up. After JFK was shot, the British intelligence MI5 alerted the FBI about the strange call. The memo notes that the US and British intelligence found the timing too coincidental to ignore, adding another mystery to the events surrounding JFK's death. Was this a random tip, or did someone know the assassination was about to happen? Of course, bro, somebody knew. There's no way. Don't be naive here. Like seriously, somebody knew. It was staged. It was in house. It seems. It all points to that. And I don't think I need any more um evidence. Like it all points here. It's the age old saying: if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, acts like a duck, or whatever, if it looks like a duck, if it if the color's a duck, just anything of a duck, it's a duck. It's what it is. We're always looking for something more to prove the point when in fact all the evidence that we have is more than enough. We just don't want to believe it. Um, President Trump is ushering, this is from Tulsi Gabbard, ushering a new era of maximum transparency today. It proves his direction. Previously redacted JFK assassination files are being released to the public with no redactions. Promises made, promises kept. So good. So this is, people need to know this. Um, Kind of charming that it's just a giant document dump with no attempt at any executive summary or overview whatsoever of key findings. They're just like, okay, we leave it solely and exclusively up to the internet to make sense of all this poop. Yeah, it's a lot. Um, President Trump on Monday announced that. Um, Fitly, he broke the news on the afternoon visit to JFK Center for the Performing Arts. While we're here, I thought it'd be appropriate. Tomorrow we are giving out all the Kennedy files, Trump told. I don't believe we're going to redact anything. We can't redact it. It's going to be very interesting. You'll make your own determination. On Monday evening, Rep. Anna Paulina Luna said the released files will be accessible on the National Archives of JFK Assassination Record website, which you can click. Um, and then it says 2,400 records, blah, 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 blah. It says people have been waiting decades for this. Trump on Monday, I said during the campaign, I'd do it, and I'm a man of my word. Here's some of the things. The CIA killed JFK because of the outrage over his failure to invade Cuba in wake of the failed Bay of Pigs invasion. It says, here are a few hypotheses. If your top theory isn't listed, share in the comments. On the other hand, there are many competing theories about who really is responsible. So this is just some theories. Soviet Union killed JFK in retaliation for embarrassing the USSR in the Cuban Missile Crisis. Cuba, Fidel Castro killed JFK because of the U.S. assassination attacks on him. Mafia killed JFK because of the Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy's crackdown. Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson conspired to kill JFK to take power. Or Israel killed JFK because of his opposition to the country's nuclear weapons development, potential sympathy with Palestinians' right to return to their homes. They were expelled from 1948, insistence that the American Zionist Council registers as agents of Israel pursuant of the Foreign Agents Registration Act. My goodness, that's a mouthful. The evidence says, then here's a big part. The evidence is overwhelming that CIA was involved in the murder and in the cover-up of my uncle, RFK Jr. And dude, it's overwhelming. There's nothing, it's It's that's what I'm gonna say. I am. That's what it points to. It all points to that. And I think that if you're trying to not call out the corruption and how dangerous it is to live this way, with the undermining, the underpinnings, these rulers, let's just say the rulers of darkness, the rulers of powers, and rulers of a dark realm in heavenly places. Think about that. The corruption that can go that deep, where people are undermining presidents. Like Trump tried to get Trump, do we just forget that Trump was trying, they tried to assassinate him back in what, July of last year? I don't know what it was, August, June, June, August, September, October, when it was, somewhere around there. Um, Yeah, it's real. This is real. And I've been saying I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm literally just telling you, like, you're not dumb for thinking that, because we live in a fallen world and the corruption is surreal. And the fact that you believe anybody in politics at some point who's not going to be as transparent as this, not because this is a win for Trump. By all means, you don't have to like him. I don't have to like everything he does. And I don't like everything he does. And I don't also agree with everything that he does. And yet still, that's a W. And I give W's where they are due. Doesn't matter where you're at, because that's a W. And this not only is terrifying, the fact that we've been right the whole time, that the CIA is responsible. I don't know what else to tell people. Like, full on responsible. And everything is pointed for this for years. Who is it? Why? What's the point? Like, man, and are they still there? And are these people and other people in Congress or Supreme Court, or in this house or this house or this house, this branch of the executive branch, or whatever branches, and whatever Congress, it does, senators, and it didn't matter, dude. People who are in high places in the freest of free worlds here in America. I wonder if there's more. It's not. You're not dumb. You're not. I think, flat out, you're dumb if you're not thinking that. You are ignorant, and you're willfully ignorant, because you don't want to believe that the people who've been saying it are right and you were wrong. And it's not even about that. It's about reading the the big red paint on the wall. Like, it's real. So, anyways, guys, that's the video. All this stuff will be here for you. I'll have the link for you so you can look at it down below. And I'll have JFK's website as well. And then you can look at all the documents. That's 80,000 pages, 1,123 PDF files for you to check out and save and go through it. All right, guys. If you like the video, be sure to like the video. If you want to see more, be sure to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.